In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. Defend your movie. It's funny if you look at the comments on the iTunes, because multiple people were like, best theme song in the business. And I'm like, that's great, but maybe you could talk about the actual...
I'll take it.
I'll take it. It's something, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I sing it all day. I'm like, that's great. Listen to the podcast, too. My name is Sean Donnelly. I am one of your hosts, here with my second host, the second equal host of the podcast.
My name is Andy Fiore. Hey, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. You know what I want to do before we start anything? I really have to say, I feel like I've been slacking on this lately. If you guys can, and you guys are awesome for listening to the show and emailing us matchups you think we should do. We're going to do some of the ones that you're suggesting. I had a great one today from a friend of mine who's a comic, Justin Smith, who listens to the show. But before we start, I just want to say, if you can, please rate, review the show. Tell your friends about the show.
Yes.
iTunes, subscribe to the show. It only helps everything. It helps us raise our level, and what happens is the algorithms work inside the computer, and it can get us on the most listened podcast list. It can get us on stuff. So I know everybody says this every podcast, but really, if you're a fan of this podcast and you listen every week and you dig what we're doing, make sure you write a review on the iTunes page. Tell people about it, and also rate it and subscribe. So just because it'll help us keep going. We want to keep going with this. We want to grow. If you have any ideas for the podcast and you have any constructive criticisms, let us know.
Totally.
DefendYourMovie@gmail.com. I'm doing that first because I want to know what you guys think, and I want to be more interactive with the fans. Also, let us know other matchups that you guys think should be matched up, even if you have one side of it, and maybe we could pair something to it.
Good idea.
And we can do it, yeah. So today, what we're going to do, the holidays are approaching, Andy.
It's the giving season.
Yes. What are you going to do for the holidays?
I go home to New Jersey with my folks and my sisters.
Yeah, I feel like most people have the same
routine.
Yeah, I'm going to Long Island, and my sister is coming out from California with my nephew and my brother-in-law, so it should be good. And you think you'll watch tons of movies?
I watch a lot of TV/movies when I'm there.
Yeah, dude.
I'm kind of the black sheep in that way, where my sisters are very engaging with my parents. I like to sit in the basement and watch TV alone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's what I used to do.
And here's the other kind of shitty thing I do whenever I'm at my parents' house for a long amount of time. I'll catch up on movies on their video on demand. on their tab.
Yeah, maybe you start calling them on demand. Yeah. Like, hey, Merry Christmas video on demand. And you're like, what about us? Like, oh, yeah, Mom and Dad, too.
So, yes, I will be catching up on movies when I'm out there.
I actually saw a couple movies this week, and we can start off with that. Before we get into today we're going to do our idea of the best of 2018. We have a list of what they think is going to be nominated for Best Picture, and we're going to go over it and tell you whatever we know about the movies and what we think.
Yeah, and our faves.
But before that, I got to say two things I got to say. I saw a new movie that just came out. I saw Green Book.
How did you like it?
I'm just going to tell you my opinion.
Okay.
It's not going to spoil anything, really.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. I saw the trailer. I thought it was interesting. It's always funny when you have like a guy like Viggo Mortensen, or you have an English actor that just does their portrayal of like a very like detailed portrayal of like an East Coast American, or like even like if it's a cowboy, or it's like, you know what I'm saying, like a very like area-centric, like, American.
Right.
And a lot of the time it sounds... it almost sounds racist in a way. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's funny because on Pat Stango, I talked to Pat, who does the podcast, How to Watch Movies the Right Way, and he saw it as well, The Green Book. and with Viggo Mortensen, and he goes, "Yeah, it was pasta face. He was doing Pat's really Italian, so he was tomato sauce face. He was just doing a really, really racist portrayal of an Italian guy from the Bronx." And he's kind of right. Like it was very like, oh, Viggo Mortensen, he's not bad, and he's actually really good in it, but it's like they just sat him down, taped his eyes open, and he had to watch every mob movie for the past 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Like Clockwork Orange or Marathon Man, but he has to watch every bad Italian.
Yeah.
Well, forget
about it.
What about and then Minchia? Yeah, he says that in the thing.
Of course.
Yeah, and you're Italian, so you know all the tropes of the Italians. But the funniest thing is, man, the rest of people love that stuff because. To us, to you, it's your family, probably, or part of your family, maybe. You probably have family members that are like that, possibly.
We're not, it's really too much like that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
but I know I do have cousins where you're like, all right, relax.
Yeah.
You know.
But one of the things I think is that we grew up with that stuff. Like, you had Guidos in your town. I had Guidos in Long Island.
My friends and associates.
Yeah, exactly. Associates. That's how you know you're Italian. You call your friends associates. It's real. Even when you're Andy, like real hippie.
He's a friend of ours. Yeah.
He's a friend of ours. He's from back in the day. He's a friend of ours. But one of the things I realize is that the rest of the country loves that stuff because they have no experience with it. That's why the Jersey Shore did so well, and that's why they love stuff like this, and that's why they love mob movies. Yeah, because they can't get enough of the accent. I told a story once to Chris Gethard, super funny comic. I think I might have had him on the podcast, or we had him on me and Dan's podcast one time. And I'll tell you a story. A long time ago, my sister first moved to, I don't know if I mentioned this story. She first moved to California, and her roommate had a boyfriend that was from Cali, like a real California dude. Like, very, tall, surfer-looking guy, whatever it was. Talked very California,
You know what I'm picturing right now is Back to the Beach. Have you ever seen that movie?
With Pee Wee Herman? And
No. Yes, he's in
Frankie
it.
Valli?
He does surfing.
Yeah.
With Frankie Valli. And it's their very Italian family. She moves out there and, it gets engaged to a super California surfer guy.
This is my sister's roommate. So this guy was over one time, and I'm there for it was my first time in California. I was so excited. And I sat in his seat for a couple minutes, and he came back. I go, oh, no, let me get up. And I got up, and he goes, no, it's fine. I go, no, go ahead. I said, go ahead? You would have, I don't know how this guy never heard this before. You would have thought, I don't know what his deal was. He flipped.
How?
Not mad. He thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Go ahead. Instead of saying go ahead, we say go ahead.
Yeah, just contract it.
Right, contract it, right. They don't do that. They say go ahead, even if they do say it. So I don't even have
too bizarre to me.
Isn't that
go
funny?
ahead, sir.
Yeah, right. But it was funny because he was like, what did you just say? What did you just say? I go, go ahead. Take the seat, go ahead. And he goes, go ahead. Oh my God, go ahead. I love it. Oh my God. Oh, he was freaking out. He goes, say it again. I'm like, go ahead.
You can try it.
And I'm like, go ahead, you can do it. Go ahead,
you can do it.
So anyway, my point being, people on the West Coast, they love that stuff.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that being said, I saw Green Book. One of the coolest things about it, which I knew going in, do you know what the Green Book references?
No.
I didn't know this. I knew this because of the movie. The Green Book references this. There's this guy, African American man, who wrote a book called the Green Book, which was a guide that they distributed across the country for Black people to know which hotels it was okay to stay at during the 50s and early 60s, and probably into the 70s. Who knows? And so the whole idea was the movie, Viggo Mortensen plays this rough and tumble Italian dude, worked at the Copacabana, basically a waiter bouncer, just a real crooked nose.
One of the guys Henry Hill walks by.
Exactly. Yeah, one of the guys, exactly. And then the kitchen scene in Goodfellas, exactly. Yeah. And he's kind of out of work for a few weeks because the Copa's getting renovated, whatever happens. And he's like mafia adjacent. He's not a mafia guy, but he knows those guys. And Marcel, what's his name? I know from Moonlight, the guy from Moonlight.
Right.
He plays this pianist who's this classically trained, famous pianist who wants to set up a tour for himself in the Deep South during this time, right? And he did it on purpose. You find out in the movie he does it on purpose, all this. And then they have to use the Green Book because the pianist, Vigo can stay wherever he wants, and he's the driver, but the pianist can't stay, right? So the whole movie is about their friendship, because apparently it's a true story. They really don't have a friendship. Now, from seeing the trailer of this movie, and also from Vigo being such a classically trained actor, and the Moonlight guy coming off Moonlight, which is a heavy movie, I thought this would be a way heavier movie. And it was kind of like a little bit deeper Remember the Titans. I kind of had that vibe to it.
Okay.
It didn't get heavy. There was times when it got whatever. There was drama, but it's not anything you haven't seen before.
Or two pals by the end.
Two pals by the end.
Well, look at our differences. I can teach you. You can teach me.
Yeah, they throw you a little bit of a screwball here and there, but overall, it was kind of what you've seen before.
This guy's all right in the end.
Yeah, this guy's all right, exactly. Even his family's like, well, like even I won't tell you the ending, but when you see it, I will talk about it. But overall, it was good, but it wasn't like they're just saying it's gonna be nominated. That's one of the ones they're like,
yeah,
it's gonna be nominated for an Oscar.
It could be a possible 2019 Oscar nom.
I don't. There would have to be a lot of crap for this thing to win.
Well, there's a lot of crap.
It's
out
good
there.
and it's shot well, and actually, it's one of the Farrelly brothers that made it.
Oh, interesting.
It was, the Farrellys that did Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
Farrellys. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter
he
and
directed
Bobby.
it. He wrote part of it and directed it, the Green Book.
Okay. Stepping outside the
comfort
range.
zone. Yeah. There was comedy in it, but, And the other thing I wanted to say was, man, oh man. We go nuts for Michael Clayton on this show. Michael Clayton is our favorite. If you listen to last week's episode, you know our boners for Michael Clayton. Michael Clayton, we love it. Holy cow, man! Is there anything better than the spaghetti western showdown scene in *Inglourious Bastards* in the bar?
Oh yeah.
Is that in the top 10 of movie scenes?
It's amazing.
It was on in this hotel room I was in, and oh my god, it's awesome. It's so
great.
Awesome. That movie, that's not Tarantino's best movie, like entertainment wise, but as far as creating
that's
tension,
one of his best scenes.
It's one of his best scenes, and then he has one of his second best scenes in it, which might even top this one or closely gets really close. The opening scene with the people with the family beneath the floorboards.
Yeah, of course.
Wow, Shoshana!
Oh, it's amazing.
And she escapes.
That put what's his name on the map.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz.
That scene. I think that scene.
I mean, the movie, but like that.
The movie, but if that scene wasn't in the movie,
right?
He would not be as famous as he was. I swear to God, this guy is so good at creating tension where they're like, that's why
he's an old school movie filmmaker in that way.
Right.
He's studied, he knows classic cinema, he knows techniques, and he still puts them to use in modern day films. Which I love and appreciate, and I don't think happens very much in
films.
But
if you watch that Inglourious, name a better scene. Like, there's so many scenes. We should do that one day. We'll do top 10 movie scenes.
Oh, defend your scene.
Defend your scene.
Oh,
we'll do that.
We got a lot of good. By the way, just on a little side note, we got a lot of good defend your blanks coming up. You know what I mean? We're starting to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a defend your scene. We got some other things cooking, so stay tuned for that.
We're gonna switch it up a bit. But I'll tell you right now. Think about the amount of things to lose in that scene. He creates the utmost amount of pressure in, not pressure, like just suspense, like the insane
tension.
amount of suspense, tension, because there's like it's so many emotions going back and forth in that scene, because they're like, oh, the people that you're rooting for, the Nazi hunters, they might get killed, but also you're rooting for one of the Nazis because he just had a kid and he didn't do anything wrong and he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then they have the follow-up part where, after everybody gets shot and the guy, the new father, he's alive, and they come in, they kill him anyway. So he kills him anyway. Like, just brutal movie. Like, just one of the best things that guy's done.
Yeah, it's great.
I think, honestly,
I got to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a little bit.
If somebody else would have did that movie, I think that movie, because he's so campy, it pulls back on the credibility of that movie. But even
a little bit in Inglourious Basterds, because there's similar stuff like that in Hateful Eight. Which it kind of is a little throwback to those like spaghetti western kind of moments.
Yeah, I saw Hateful Eight. But Hateful Eight's not as good as Inglourious Basterds. I definitely... No, you think Hateful Eight?
I love Hateful Eight.
Really?
Have you seen it a couple times?
Yeah, not a couple times. Saw it once.
I might like it a little more, but there are scenes I love more than... I don't know. That's another time.
Well, we mentioned it. We're into westerns now. We talked about it the other day. We're getting old. We're into westerns.
I'm not there yet.
We might do it. We might do Hateful Eight versus Inglourious, because I can defend Inglourious, no problem.
All right. I gotta watch
Really, you
Inglourious
think?
again. It's been a few years.
I think. All right, let's watch both again. We'll figure it out. Now let's go.
That's like 6 hours of movie. Back to back.
Can you take a week off work and rewatch these
I
movies?
can't come in today.
And then come back for this free podcast?
Why not? I'm watching 2 Tarantino films back to back. It's going to clear out my whole schedule.
What about Django? Where does that fit in?
Nah, I don't love Django.
Django's revenge porn.
Right.
So is
Yeah,
Inglourious
totally.
Bastards.
But
Inglourious Bastards,
But it's well more-
done in a much classier, much more film noir.
Honestly, I know this didn't sound shitty, but Jamie Foxx just doesn't do it for me. I can't take him seriously, and
I agree with that. I think I don't know what you think about Jamie Foxx, Alex, but I think he's worn out his welcome a little bit. Like, what did he do? He did Ray, that got him the nomination for an Oscar.
I just can't think of not Jamie. I can't get. It's Jamie Foxx. It's in my head the whole time.
Yeah, you just think of Wanda from Living Color.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a talented guy, but I don't think I'm that serious.
Yeah, super talented. But
I think he's. You know what made me not like him? Made me like him less. And I only saw part of this.
I'll tell you one. Yeah.
And you're a fan of this movie.
Okay.
We talked about it recently. Baby Driver. I think he's really annoying in Baby Driver. That character sucks in Baby Driver.
Yeah, he's just Jamie Foxx and everything.
No, in that one he's trying to be like rougher. Like, he's actually funny in Horrible Bosses.
Oh yeah, he's funny enough.
He's funny
but
in
that's
that.
more. All right, just give me more. Yeah,
Give me more of
That's the
that.
Jamie Foxx I know and love.
I think he has a couple of great scenes in Django.
Yeah,
I think Django,
it's just not up
you know.
there for my favorites as far as Tarantino goes.
All right, let's go to the meat part of the podcast.
Oh,
Do you
well,
want to talk? Oh, I'm sorry. You want to talk about your movie?
I didn't see any movies this week, but boy, did I hang out with a movie star this week.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Son of a bitch. Andy, please tell everybody.
So I work with Tom Papa on his very popular show Come to Papa, and we do a live show monthly from the Comedy Cellar at the Village Underground. And Matt Damon is old pals with Tom Papa. They've done Soderbergh films together. They've done Behind the Candelabra. They've done The Informant together. And they're just good friends over the years. And so Matt Damon is hosting Saturday Night Live tomorrow. And so he came down to the Cellar and sat in the audience. And then we all went out to dinner afterward. We all went over to the Olive Tree. And I didn't want to sit there because I had all the comics are going, oh, look at Fiore. You know, because we all walked in together. And
Yeah.
people were like, oh, that's Matt Damon. And then they're all sitting down. And I'm kind of hovering. Liz is already looking at me like, you're a fucking jerk off. You know, she's the GM of the Cellar. And I was like, I'm just going to go sit with my normal people.
So you didn't sit with them?
Tom Papa goes, Andy, come, you're sit with us. And so I sit right next to Tom, right across from Matt and his wife. So I sat there I had dinner with Matt Damon. We talked. It was great.
Fucking piece of shit.
And
Andy.
he's a really sweet guy too. And you just think back to all the movies you love with him in, and I'm like, oh, we just did Ocean's 11.
Was it surreal? Was
a little bit, but he's a pretty
fantastic.
normal guy, and he was a
I've heard that
really
before.
sweet, down to earth dude. And I got some good laughs in. Like, I was cracking jokes, and like there was two other comics were kind of there. John Fish kind of came over because I was like, hey, I kind of roped him in, so I had somebody to sit next to me, and I'm sitting next to Tom, who's, you know, we're all just like comics. You crack a joke when you see an opening. And his wife was sitting there, and she's very sweet, and they just they were just like a good, happy group. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll probably hang out again, I guess. But
Alex,
it was really cool.
are we going to have to get rid of Andy from the podcast? Has he gotten too big?
No
That might
way.
make him too big from the podcast.
No way.
There might have to be a vote. Me and Andy.
We're trying to get Matt on. How great would that be?
Oh, my God. I didn't even think of that. That's how much of an asshole I am. Wow. No, that would never happen.
I mean-
you could never ask him to do the podcast.
I think I could ask him because he's cool. He seemed cool enough.
Do they live in Manhattan?
They are moving back.
Alex!
And I
imagine
guarantee
if we
you
got-
now,
I knew this guy was good for something.
this is actually the second time I've met him. I met him like 3 years ago when he actually came on and did like a sketch with Tom on the show.
Did he remember you?
And he goes, oh, yeah, Andy. And I was like, hey. And then and this was like an extended dinner. Last time I was just like, hey, I'm Andy, and I ran off.
Dude.
And so I think there's an outside chance because he seems like the kind of guy, because he likes getting down and dirty and shit talking. I go, hey, you pick a movie, we'll defend it, and he'll fucking get in there and horse around with us.
Oh, my God.
And I'll tell you this much. I got his wife's email because she was sending me pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I could be like, hey, if you guys are moving.
No, my God, that'd be amazing. I wouldn't want you to jeopardize your relationship with Matt Damon.
No,
for
what
this podcast.
fucking relationship? I don't care.
That'd be so funny if
And we did have a funny thing.
Andy just starts hanging out with Matt Damon and starts going to Hollywood parties, Alex. What?
Said he better know where his bread's buttered. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't here. My bread is fucking dry.
There's no bread. There's no bread. Well, next time you talk to him, can you tell him that Sean Donnelly of Floral Park, New York, loves him
Absolutely.
very much. I think he's.
Funny thing was, he was wearing a Red Sox hat. I just happened to be wearing like a Yankees T-shirt on too.
Yeah.
It didn't even get brought up. He's like a diehard Sox fan.
You know why? Because you know why?
He was very
because he's
cool.
a really smart guy.
He is. He was super smart.
And it's like, and he's
I
a grown-up,
forgot
and he's
he was a
grown-up.
Harvard guy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the whole time he's talking, I'm like, this guy, all I can do is fucking make jokes. I can't keep up with his level of like.
Also, yeah, you know, does that dumb guys and always like when they have nothing else to say. He's got shit to say, probably.
Right, yeah. It was
funny,
very
dude.
cool because he was telling us, he was like, yeah, kind of the ins and outs of his day as SNL host, which I admit,
That's cool.
admittedly not as much anymore, but growing up, I would have, just died to have heard stories like that. So it was cool to hear like what from the host perspective of their day,
Maybe
of
he'll
their
just
week
start-
at SNL.
He might just come and hang out in the cellar.
Maybe. He was very well received.
Oh my God! I'm gonna start I work at the cellar, but I'm gonna start just hanging out there when I'm not working, just waiting for Matt Damon.
that
to come
happens
in.
all the time.
It does happen all the time. All right, let's start doing the list here.
Yes.
You want to run down? Do you want to do yours first?
Sure.
Andy? All right.
I'll start. I have a top 10, and I have some almost.
So these are the top 10 of what you
These
thought
are-
top 10 of the year.
These are no. These are the top 10 movies that I saw in 2018 because, admittedly, I did not see a lot of the big ones, a lot of the big guns. So this
Yeah,
is
I feel the same way. I only
strictly
saw
what I
certain
saw.
ones. Yeah.
and I'll kind of run through them. And I have some. Do you want me to start with the
There's
Almost
a
Mates?
movement. Now, let me ask you a question before you start. There's a movement to get Black Panther nominated for an Oscar.
Right? And
Do you
I
think that will happen?
I think it will because they're in this. They're back to that 10 nominees for Best Picture now, which I disagree with.
Did they not do it last year?
No, I'm just saying within the last 5 years they've
Yeah.
gone back to the 10 pictures, which I think it's too many. You're diluting it down. Here's the other thing I think this category of Best Popular Film was made for Black Panther. If
Do
you
you
remember,
really?
they added
Yes.
this on. This will be the first time this year. If they ever find a host.
Well, they're trying to get. I think they're trying to get more people to like. I think we talked about it on the podcast.
It dilutes it. We did talk about
does
how it's,
dilute it. It definitely
it's
does.
making a Mickey Mouse show of it.
It kind of is, and it's making. If you want
You're
to do
not.
like,
It's not. It's because it's not a meritocracy anymore, which it should be.
it
It should
absolutely
be based
should
on
be.
merit, and the best film wins Best Picture. And then don't have this is the best popular film. You're just,
No, I know what you mean, but they're like dying to get people to watch it again. That's why.
I guess so. But
Everything boils down to ratings, man. That's what it comes down to
Yeah.
with these people. Because all those people, their job depends on this academy and this award show. So there's thousands of people whose livelihoods are just year round
Yeah.
deciding these nominees. So they go, hey, we might as well throw this in, just to make things exciting.
yeah. So
Go down your list.
A few, here the top 10, and I'll cut it. I'll start with number 10, which was a fun movie for me, and I loved it. At number 10, my favorite movie of the year was The Meg.
Oh,
At top 10.
Alex, it's so funny that Andy just went on a speech about how you're watering down. You're
But
watering.
you gotta. This is
like-
just purely from what I've seen.
I know.
I haven't seen a lot of the.
You like the Meg? See, I thought the Meg was disappointing.
No, I liked it a lot.
The more I thought about the Meg, I realized it could have been way better.
All right, at number 9, Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 is fantastic.
I agree.
I can't. They're going to do a Deadpool 3, I think, right?
Yeah, well, they just made a Once
trailer.
Upon a Deadpool, which is like a Christmas.
A cartoon or
No, a live action Christmas movie, Deadpool.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Wait, but not animated?
No.
Wait, is
Right?
that-
Have you seen it? Yeah, Once Upon a Deadpool.
No.
I swear to
Is it
God.
a short film?
It's a PG-13 version. Yeah.
No, it's
swear
not.
to God,
Alex,
dude.
can you look that up? I think
All
that.
right.
I think that
you look
no.
it up, and I'll prove you both wrong.
You would have seen.
I've seen the commercial like a few times.
Wait, what? Is it coming out to where?
Theaters.
Why I had no idea about this? They spent like 2 years on the last one.
I think this is I don't know if it's a full length feature, but
It might just be on like.
it's just I think it's just a
I gotta check it
fun
out.
holiday thing.
Wow. When does it come out? Does it say? All right. Let us know.
At number 8, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody I didn't see,
was
but you
good.
liked it.
I liked it.
But you think it could have
It's
been
at
better.
number 8. You know.
It's at number 8.
Yeah, I thought it was. It was
In theaters December 12th.
today.
No, it's got to be. No, dude.
Today, yeah.
It's with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
I guarantee you it plays before movies.
It might. So Bohemian Rhapsody was at number 8.
So you like Bohemian Rhapsody better than the Meg then?
Yes.
They're both about sharks. Isn't his mouth shut up like a shark?
Yeah. At number 7, Solo, which we saw in the theaters together. I
Yes.
enjoyed Solo very much.
Solo-
I really like the origin story of Solo.
Definitely underrated.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to get tired of these movies. There's all these movements against people getting sick of Marvel, getting sick of the DC, getting sick of whatever it is. But I watched Solo, and people did not go check it out. They did not.
No.
It didn't do that well. In fact, I think it did so poorly. Didn't they delay or cancel Boba Fett movie?
Maybe, but I'm kind of one of those people where it's like, all right, let's temper these a little bit so it's not overwhelming. And I loved Solo.
The only thing that got me mad about Solo is how he got his name. What a corny way.
Kinda, I know.
Because he's going through the gate like
Right.
a passage, and the guy
Well,
goes.
yeah, okay, if you haven't seen it by
If
now.
you haven't seen it by
should
now,
see
yeah.
But yeah.
What is it again? He goes through. What does he say? The guy
He's alone.
He's
It's just
alone.
like- so the guy's like, "Whoa, so you're solo?" And that's how it. Yeah, it's literally how it happens.
It's so bad. There should have been some more poetic reason for like, because I fly through the skies. I
Yeah.
fly through space solo. That's all I need is myself. I believe in
Right,
myself.
right.
It should have been something like that. Like,
Yeah.
there should have been like a speech that he like when he's on his own and he's going through with the Millennium Falcon before he gets Chewbacca. There should have been a moment where he was like, "I'm solo. I'm by myself.
Right.
I'm Han Solo."
Yeah, they really kind of phoned it in on that one.
Because isn't he also an orphan? I think it could have been. I don't know if he's an orphan, but
Well, yeah, the story is he's with what's her name? He's with his girlfriend the whole time,
yeah.
and then they get broken up. I thought it was good.
I liked it a
Good
lot. But
story.
I'm just saying that's the only part I hated. Okay,
At number 6, this might be a weird one off people's radar, but I loved it. It was the follow-up to Sicario, Day of the Soldado.
I didn't see that
I
either.
loved it. I thought it's exact, like you have great acting, you have an action-packed story, you know the elements that go into a movie like that, and they nail it. It's
Great
Josh
trailer.
Brolin, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
It's cool counter-terrorism, intelligence, drug cartel shit, and it's just a cool movie. It was well done, and I watched it, and I was like, dude, I fucking wish there was more. I wish it was longer.
I'll tell you, I didn't even see it, and it deserves to be on your list just for the way Del Toro shoots that gun in the trailer.
Oh, and that's a badass part. So you know you're gonna. So that was.
He just takes his big finger
Yeah.
on his right hand and just puts it within the
Yeah.
trigger, like just goes back and forth within the trigger of the gun on a handgun.
Yeah.
It basically makes a handgun like a machine gun by rapidly firing
Exactly.
a handgun. It was so cool.
Yeah, cool movie. Great job. Number 5, the top 5. This one, I don't know. People, I think, are going to yell at me about this one. I've seen it a few times now. I've caught it on HBO some rewatches, which is Game Night.
Game Night.
I really enjoyed Game Night.
We
man.
had some controversy on this, didn't we? Whatever guest we had
Yeah.
hated Game Night. It might have been fucking Saint Germain when Saint Germain was here. Or something like
maybe.
that. It was somebody that hated Game Night is freaking tastic.
Right? I thought it was funny, great ensemble.
I wonder if that's
Fun
happening now,
story.
man. Because you know what's happening in comedy. We know because it's happening with stand-up. There's so much content. Like you do a late night set, it doesn't matter as much as
Yeah.
it does. And you know what matters now if you're a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
And it's spread out. The web is so spread out of content that now when it comes to comedy, people are like, yeah, but this. What about this? What about
Right.
this? It's always what about this? What about this? What about this? But used to be back in Something About Mary days, it was like, have you seen There's Something About Mary?
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. Game Night. If this was 95, everybody would know.
Yeah.
And people would be quoting Game Night.
Yeah.
How are people not quoting Game Night now?
know, it's super
Including
funny,
myself.
man.
Yeah. It's so good. The guy Jesse Plemons, who was in Breaking Bad,
He's great. It's a great cast.
he's in Breaking Bad and Friday Night Lights, right?
Yes. Yep.
He is so good
And he was in.
at playing every kind of creep there is.
Great season 2 of Fargo. Killed it in Fargo.
Yeah, I
with
heard that
Kirsten
too.
Dunst, which was a great underrated season.
Dude, you guys, if you have not seen Game Night, because it's also like, it's one of these movies that's a comedy, but it has these like badass fight scenes in it.
and it gets a little dark. There's some dark stuff in there.
Yeah, and really good comedic actors in it. And then like Kyle Chandler's a great actor. Like, it's just a
another
quality.
Friday Night Lights guy.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights guy. It's just another. It's a really quality movie. I think that really got people just weren't into.
So that's my number 5.
Okay.
Top 4. Here's where it gets really
You just
good.
did a shuffle
just
like
did a Dennis
Letterman.
Miller.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs at number 4.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Hey, I do not disagree with you. It would be higher probably for me.
Okay, because I
Out of what
admittedly
I've
did not
seen.
love it out of the gate, but then I've gone back and picked and choose spots again, and I've really loved some of the stories.
What on the rewatch?
I
what,
started
what
at the
changed?
beginning again, and just because I loved how dark Tim Blake Nelson's character. He's just so happy-go-lucky with these dark, but he's
It's hilarious.
so funny.
It's great.
And so I loved that one. And
I
I watched the first 3 again.
The wordage he uses reminds me of like him and Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like it reminds me of that type of.
Yeah, it's great,
Yeah.
classic like Coen Brothers kind of old-timey writing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh wait, so when you rewatched it, the first one,
I actually watched the first 4 again.
I watched the first 2 again, and I liked the Buster Scruggs even better when I watched it.
And I
didn't
love the
watch-
James Franco one.
James Franco one is really great, man.
Yeah.
It's really great.
It's really good.
I
That
think
was my second.
That's one of those movies on all the rewatches you do, it just gets better and better.
Yeah.
I don't think I can bring myself to rewatch the Liam Neeson one. And if you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The ending is brutal.
That one and the last one I didn't watch again.
When we talked about it on a previous episode, somebody wrote to me and they go, one thing you missed, you got the forehead thing. Because, I had that thing about, they kept focusing on the forehead before everybody got killed. Basically, it might have been Justin Smith. We should have him on the pod. He's a buddy of mine, and I don't know if you know Justin, big heavy guy.
Yeah. I know him well.
I'm saying big heavy guy. Like we're not big heavy guys, but like we're two.
He's bigger and heavier than us.
Yeah, he is bigger than us. But funny, really funny dude, and knows a lot about movies. Watches a lot of movies, and he brought up he put it into words better for me because I didn't know this, and I think I might have said it to somebody at some point, but basically. But also, I didn't want to say it out loud because it's also what Oh Brother Where Art Thou is almost about. Dying and being okay with dying. That's what all of those vignettes are about in Buster Scruggs.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's all.
I feel like
except for the only one that I said to him, I wrote back. I think I wrote back the Liam Neeson one. I don't think that kid, I don't think he accepted it.
Agreed.
I think he was like, I'm fucked, and I can't do anything about it. But he wasn't
maybe he made peace with it.
He didn't, but they don't show him making peace with it.
Yeah, maybe it's implied. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one again either. So
Well, I won't watch that one again. But I love the Tom Waits one. I haven't had a chance to rewatch, and the James Franco one is so cool.
Great.
It's so great.
Yeah.
And you're right. That last line with him with the girl is fantastic.
I love that line.
Badass.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, so number 3.
Top 3, big top 3 for me. And I'm curious to see if we agree on number 1. But the number 3, I loved this movie, A Quiet Place, with John Krasinski and
I
Emily
haven't
Blunt.
seen it yet.
It was.
And do you know it's from
loved
me
it.
being a pussy about scary movies?
You're not gonna like my number 2 then.
Yeah. I heard how great it is. Yeah.
It was fantastic. You're a little reluctant because you're going in, you're just going, how are they going to pull this off? Because you know enough about it where it's like, there is no dialogue.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is a tough trick, and they do it very well, and it's engaging, and you're on the edge of your seat the whole time going, they've done it, and I'm really looking forward to how this, I'm sure really trying not to spoil anything for you.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I don't know because I haven't seen it. I don't want to talk out of school. You think it'll definitely win for sound design? It's got it.
It has to.
It has to.
It has to.
Yeah. Just that idea alone and then pulling it off.
It was a really cool plot. It was really well done. It's got jumps if you like horror, which I do, and it's really well acted. And it kind of makes you John Krasinski, a guy you're always like, he's a goofball, he's Jim from The Office, but you're like, this guy can make a movie too.
Well,
which
that's
is kind of like the Ben Affleck way of kind of going that road. You're like, Ben Affleck, but then you're like, he's great behind the camera. You know,
the thing. Yeah, from that it did really well, so he'll make more movies.
Yeah.
He's set.
And he deserves to, because this was great. I loved it. It was one of those movies that when you finish watching, you're like, that was a great movie. I really dug it.
Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I haven't met a person who hasn't liked that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't met one person that was like, it was dumb. They didn't talk.
Right.
Like normally,
Yeah.
normally, especially with comics, you always get one comic that wants to go against the grain and go,
Yeah, I like some words.
So like, hey, you see Sixth Sense? It's great. You go, it was dead the whole time. It was stupid.
Right.
It was
You didn't
stupid.
know.
It was
Shut up.
Like you didn't. Yeah, I knew it. Like 10 seconds in, I knew it. You always get those guys, and some of the guys just enjoy it for what they enjoy it for. Number two is another scary one, huh?
Ooh, holy shit. Hereditary.
Well, I've also heard about this one. I will never. I'm sorry, but I will never see this movie.
It's so good, though, dude.
You know what's so funny? It's like, this is how much of a pussy I am. I almost changed the I watched an episode of Friends today where there's an episode of Friends where Ross is getting married to this woman named Emily, and he calls her Rachel by accident.
the episode.
I almost changed the channel on that because I didn't want to have...
No, that's more Seinfeld-ish than anything. Like,
But I didn't want to have to deal with like the uncomfortableness of that.
I get it. I
so
totally
I am
get
not
it.
watching Hereditary.
Well, that's a different feeling. It's not uncomfortable. It's more like, boy, and right in because I think it was a beautifully made movie. It is scary as fuck. It's well acted. It's beautifully acted. I think Toni Collette should get a Best Actress nomination, and it's got a twist where you're like, fuck, I didn't see that coming at all, and it's great, and it's just a good old-fashioned scary fucking movie. In my top 5 of horror movies of all time.
No, I heard it's fantastic.
Like, it's a little bit of Shining, it's a little bit of Exorcist, and it's just, they really do it well, and a first-time director and writer, too, so.
Oh, he's set. He's like Jordan Peele.
Just fucking,
from
yeah,
last year, 2 years ago.
Really awesome movie, and screwed me up for, like, hours after it. I was just like, holy shit, dude. Like, I had to go research stuff from the movie.
It's because of what they tell you in the movie that's like fucked up like history stuff, or is it because just the scenes are so freaky you can't?
There's
like,
a little bit of both.
It's like almost like
It's very unsettling.
sub-level, subconscious.
Unsettling is the perfect word. You're like, ooh, and then there's elements of the movie that are real. And I like went and Wikipedia shit afterwards. I was like, oh, I got to learn more about that so I can ward it off in my own life.
Oh, I will not. I will not. I will not
It's
watch
so
that
good.
movie. And I like suspenseful movies, but I feel like I'll just. Is there jump out at you? Any jump out at you scenes?
It's got suspense, it's got thrills, it's got jumps. Not so many jumps as like a traditional like a slasher flick or anything, but the suspense and which is like what I love. It's just got so many elements of horror that I enjoy of a good horror movie. Oh, this is good. But I can't. I'm not ready to watch it again yet. One day I will be, but not yet.
Oh my god!
But I do want to go back and just to process it again.
Is there a movie that you'll never watch again? That's too scary.
A great question.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Also, to even add to it that you like that you'll never watch again.
I
have one. I know one.
I was some of the gore is not my kind of horror. So like I'll sit through it, but then I'll like, oh no, I don't need to see that stuff again.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have one off
That's
the top
kind
of
of
my
how
head.
Mandy was. It was really gory. I would watch it again. I would watch Mandy again. I would definitely. Mandy, I loved.
Okay.
Mandy, it was scary. But Mandy was just like kind of gory, whatever.
Well, that brings us to our number one.
Ah! That's your number one
That's
of the
my
year.
favorite movie of the year, Mandy. I saw it twice. I saw it at home. I went to the theater to watch it again.
You know
That's
what
how
I'm
much I
getting from
loved
this?
it. Man.
You're a really big fan of like the scary movie genre.
Mandy to me wasn't that scary. It
wasn't scary.
It was
wasn't
thrilling,
scary.
and there
Yeah.
was scary parts, and there was horror parts. But it's more like a revenge movie than anything else.
I love revenge. I
And
know we
there
talked about
is
this, but I
a
love-
good. But you said it great. It was like there was that video game level of the revenge plot where it's like you beat this boss,
There was
and
level
then you got
bosses.
your next
Yeah.
challenge.
I love that. I love it. That
So
Man on
that's my number.
Fire.
That's my favorite movie of the year. I loved Mandy. I loved the way it looked. I loved the way it was acted. I thought Nick Cage was fucking brilliant. He deserves the Best Actor nominee.
Do you
Andrea
honestly,
Riseborough is fantastic.
Do you honestly believe that?
Yeah, he was great. He really was not Nick Cage. It was like, that's Leaving Las Vegas type. That's Raising Arizona's level.
He
He
probably-
can be a great actor, and he is when he wants to be.
He probably said less than John Krasinski in The Quiet Place.
No, but dude, there's like the bathroom scene when he's freaking out with the vodka.
That's
like,
fantastic.
Just so
Knowing how his life has probably been for the past 5 years. I bet you he just got drunk and just did that scene. I feel like there's kind of a lot of parallels between.
There's so much of that movie I
You know,
love.
he just went off about he's like, taxes! Like, he just started saying,
But yeah,
divorce and this.
between Cheddar Goblin, which was such a great in movie little commercial. That the guys I researched that the guys who made Too Many Cooks. Did you ever see that little short?
Yes,
film?
yeah, they made that?
Cheddar Goblin.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I just thought it was a great movie. I really liked.
I loved it.
Panos Cosmatos, and it was. If there's one knock on it, it drags maybe a little, but I think that's intentional and it's deliberate. It's just to set up the craziness of the second half of the movie. And there's so many cool techniques in it too. There's like little animation parts, but it's so beautiful, and the soundtrack is killer. It was just my favorite. I loved it.
Yeah, it'd be up there for me.
And like I said, everybody before people yell at me for this top 10 list, these is just from what I saw. I didn't see a lot.
I'm trying to think if no, Mandy might be in the top for me.
Yeah.
Buster Scruggs is up there for me.
Yeah.
It might be my two, but those would be my top two. Buster Scruggs and Mandy.
But I mean, didn't you want to like high five people while you were watching Man? You were just like, yes, this is great. I loved it so much.
I did. I high-fived Dan St. Germain.
Right.
I forget what scene it was. It was some crazy,
great
gory
chainsaw
scene.
fight. Oh,
yeah.
so fantastic.
Yeah, you're right. It's badass. I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I saw it at home, and like I said, I was aching for somebody else to talk about it with. And then my buddy Chris, who has a very similar movie sensibility to me, my friend from childhood, finally watched it, and he was like, dude, he's like, I'm driving back to New York tomorrow. Can I call you? We'll talk about it.
It's also a movie that I'm sure there's tons of people who hated.
I'm sure it's already a cult classic. It's already,
is, right?
I guarantee.
It's in there, yeah. Well, St. Germain's wife got him the shirt.
That's fantastic. I ordered the movie poster. It was a really cool movie poster.
Oh, yeah.
It was my
the
Christmas
graphic.
present. Yeah, it's super cool.
I shared one of the pictures of him from it. It was badass.
So great. His smile at the end.
Yeah,
it's just without.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, go see Man. That's my top 10 list. And a few honorable mentions was a documentary called Film Worker about Stanley Kubrick's assistant, who basically was off to a great acting career. And he was even in Barry Lyndon and then just gave up acting to become basically Kubrick's protege, but then never made any of his own movies. Just was Kubrick's go-to guy for everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you told me about that.
And I liked Tag. I thought that was kind of a funny movie.
Tag was not as good as I thought it would be.
I liked it. I thought it was
the ending of Tag was dumb,
Kinda funny.
really dumb, but it was a comedy.
Yeah.
I actually thought there were funny parts, but like, if people didn't like Tag, I could get that. But Game Night is so good.
Really, yeah, so much.
Because also with they kind of reminded me of the same thing, like these I don't know, like maybe because they're Game Night and Tag. I don't know. It just reminded me of the same thing. What about Mission Impossible?
I didn't see it.
Oh,
That's in a lot of people's...
That would be number 5 for me. Number 6. It was great. It was a really good action movie.
My other honorable mention was a movie I talked about, I think last week, was a really cool movie, The Clove Hitch Killer. Just a cool kind of suspenseful.
Oh, I gotta check that out. Yeah,
kind of murder mystery, which I enjoyed, but didn't make my top 10.
We gotta watch. We have the other list, but we ran out of time.
Yeah,
we'll do that next week as a small little part of it.
We'll do some holiday stuff.
We can
too.
watch a couple of these.
I'm gonna try and watch some of the projected Best Picture nominees.
Projected ones. Anything you'd like to plug, my friend?
I'm in January, big month for Connecticut. I'll be at Mohegan Sun on the 17th through the 19th, and then I'll be at City Steam in Hartford the next weekend. Headlining
nice.
the City Steam the 25th and 26th. And then I'll be headlining in Fairfield Comedy Club on February 1st, just one night only. And so, yeah, if you want to see me in Connecticut, I'm there 3 weekends in a row. So, but always follow AndyFiore.com and at Andy Fiore on all social media. I'm always adding dates. So check me out there.
I am around. I'm at Shoney Time on Twitter and Instagram. And in January, I'm going to be at the Atlantic City Comedy Club the 18th and the 19th. But you'll hear from me before that. We'll have episodes before
Absolutely.
that. You know what? We'll probably do we'll do an episode next week.
Yeah.
We'll just do one early in the week. So we're not skipping one for the holidays. Maybe if we can get a bonus one out, we'll try to do that as well.
Absolutely. Maybe. And
thank you guys so much for listening. You're listening to us. We're at the Showbiz Studios. That's ShowbizStudios.com is the network that we're on with our friend Alex, and you can go to they have a YouTube page. They also have an iTunes page where you can check out all the amazing Showbiz Studios podcasts that our friends run, and it's really, really, really great. So we will see you next week, and we love you. And make sure you review, make sure you comment, make sure
Follow
you
at
email.
Defend Your Movie and give us some suggestions.
Yes. Follow. Yeah, give us some suggestions, and also have a great week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My friend, there's a time